Well, finally, it's time for the big game here. Let me get this centered. I mean, guys, this Eagles team, though, in my opinion, is on fraud watch. I'm dead serious. I know it's the oldest argument in sports history, saying a good team hasn't played anyone. But this Eagles team hasn't played anyone. This is the easiest regular season and postseason path to the big game in Super Bowl history. Seriously, guys, while I'm talking, go pull it up right now. Go pull up their schedule and just look at the teams they've played and when they've played them. It's preseason game after preseason game. When the Eagles went against a top 10 offense, when the quarterback was actually playing, they gave up 32 points per game. In my opinion, they still haven't even played a playoff game. Over the last 2 months, they've played 7 games. 3 of them are against the Giants. The other 4, the Bears, who have the number 1 pick in the draft, the Cowboys, that vaunted Philly defense, let that go 24 for 24 against their zone, gave up 40 points and lost. Then they played the Saints and lost to Andy Dalton. I know those last 2 are with Minshew, but Minshew isn't playing on defense. Then finally, that 7th game, they played a 49ers team who literally didn't have anyone that could throw the football. Look, Jalen Hurts has some big-time passes this year, and look for the Chiefs to play a zone defense with some exotic blitzing. Because if you play man, Hurts is going to give it to AJ, and he's going to crush you. AJ might be the best receiver in football against man. So get some pressure on Jalen. It's going to be the key to disrupting this offense. Jalen Hurts, under pressure, has 4 touchdown passes with 2 big-time throws. He's not in the same galaxy of Mahomes, who has 14 under pressure touchdowns with 16 big-time throws. And look, there's something else about Jalen. I mean, I've seen actual doctors that have coached on the sidelines, not coached on the sidelines, doctors on sidelines for NFL teams. And they say Hurts' shoulder injury should be just fine. But is it? Maybe it's in his head. I don't know. But since that injury, he has completed just 2 passes beyond 20 yards, and he has only even attempted 19 beyond 10 yards. The best defense against this Eagles offense is getting a lead and facing Hurts to pass. We haven't seen them in a hole where Hurts has to dig them out. And guys, I could sit here and tell you, like, and pick the reasons Eagles should win. It sounds obvious, right? If we're talking about this Monday, if the Eagles win, like, yeah, they crushed people all season. They had a great record. They have better wide receivers, running backs, offensive line, defensive line, all that. I can go all day long. But if you think that I'm picking against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, you're insane. I refuse to wake up Monday morning, walk into my bathroom, look in the mirror, and say, you idiot, you picked Jalen Hurts over Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is 18-6-1 as an underdog or as a favorite of less than 3. And those 25 games aren't against nobodies. They're against good teams. Because to be a favorite against Mahomes, you have to be good. And those 25 examples, he's won 18 of them. I mean, let me clarify something. I think so highly of Mahomes. If you get on the social media world and you look, people are starting to think he's overrated, and that's starting to be the narrative. If he loses this game, is he overrated? Guys, if Mahomes wins this game, he has as many Super Bowl rings as Peyton Manning, and he's been playing for 5 years. In those 5 years, he's been to the AFC Championship 5 times. In those 5 years he's played, let's count them. How many true road playoff games has he played? 0. He's never had to play a road playoff game, a true road playoff game, neutral site, yes, but true, because they're so good in the regular season. And let me tell you something, Eagles fans. I say all this to say Mahomes is going to be back. He'll be here next year, but you won't. This is your year to get it, because you're about to have to pay a quarterback, 2 corners, another wide receiver, a tight end, lineman, and all that isn't possible. Eagles fans, this is your shot to win it. And you better take that opportunity, because next year, you might not even finish 3rd in your own division. Chiefs are going to roll.
Welcome, everybody, to another beautiful edition of DDS Sports Talk here on the Thursday night, February the 9th. That was the return, the soft return. It's a soft return, but it is a return nonetheless.
There is not much soft about those.
Oh my gosh, he just laid.
Thanks.
I mean, he laid the gauntlet down for the Eagles fans right there. That is Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker right there. Couldn't be with us in person tonight because he's on the road, but he did record some stuff for us. Glad to get his Super Bowl prediction in there. We've missed you, buddy.
Miss you, man. Miss you.
Love to see that big, beautiful, bald head of yours. But yes, guys, welcome. This is DDS Sports Talk. We're fans just like you, real fans, real talk out here. Before we get started, obviously, this is the Super Bowl prediction show. We're going to have some 2-minute takes here having to do with the NBA. Some more NFL talk. We got a little bit of breaking news, but we'll get to that towards the end of the show. But before we get started, guys, down below, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button for me there on YouTube. Give us a follow and a rumble on Rumble. Follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. You can also download the audio versions of all these podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform. Newberry, it is super. As you can see in the background, no, we're not in Arizona. That's just a background. As you can see in the background, it is Super Bowl LVII.
Yes, it is,
man. And I mean, it's already getting spicy up in here talking about the Super Bowl. We expect nothing less from the man, Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker, particularly when it comes to talking about the Philadelphia Eagles.
So happy he could bring the heat to the show, so I don't have to do it anymore. But man, let's just before we get started, two of the three of us are Blake calls degenerate gamblers. And for the Super Bowl, kicking things off, let me talk about the FanDuel kick of destiny.
Oh, geez.
If Rob Gronkowski makes a field goal during the Super Bowl, FanDuel will release $10 million in free bets. All you have to do to take advantage of this promotion, you have to place a $5 pregame bet. Any bet on the Super Bowl pregame, if Gronkowski makes that kick, you will be a part of receiving $10 million worth of free bets on FanDuel.
Oh, Lord.
The kick of destiny.
All of my degenerate gambling friends, one of them sitting right here, one of them you just saw on the screen there, Matthew Two-Tone Blue Parker. But hey, they do win some money.
That's what it's about, man. People want to bet on coin tosses. Mm-hmm. They want to bet on how long or short over under on the national anthem.
Yeah.
They bet on the Gatorade color.
And you know what, though, guys? You know, I didn't mention this in the opener, but I'm going to I'm just going to let Newberry read the title here of what the last video for Matthew Parker is going to be at the end. We'll put it towards the end
of the show. We'll save it for Parker's final thoughts, but Parker is providing 4 Super Bowl prop bets, like we knew he would. He is Mr. Prop.
Exactly. He is Prop Bet Parker.
So that'll be in his final takes. You can just skip right ahead if you want to, but we've got some juice in the middle of this.
Yeah, there's some good stuff to talk about here.
The way I broke it down for this game was in pieces.
Yep.
It's Kansas City versus Philly, but the first thing I wrote down was coaches.
Yep.
We have Andy Reid versus
legendary
Nick Sirianni.
Yep.
He's about my age, about 41. Coaching advantage goes to?
Got to be Andy Reid.
Got to be Andy Reid.
I mean, there's no question.
Andy Reid is 3-0 versus his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Can Nick Sirianni cook up a little something here? Maybe that's the advantage of Nick, is we don't have much tape on Nick.
Yeah, but I mean, do you look at Nick Sirianni and the Philadelphia Eagles and say, man, I'm worried about Nick Sirianni drawing up a game plan? I think it's more the talent that he has amassed. Now, does that mean that he's not a good coach? I'm not saying that at all. But when you look across the field, you've got a guy who now all of a sudden we're not talking about Bill Belichick. Now all of a sudden everybody is talking about Andy Reid the way they talked about Bill Belichick 10 years ago. He's developing his own coaching, his family coaching tree. people that have come up under him.
I know all about that tree in Duval.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we're looking at this now. Is Sirianni a good coach? I don't know if he's a good coach or not. It's hard to say whenever he's got just a slew of offensive weapons. I'm not going to sit here and act like he's coached them up. Just my opinion.
All
I'm
right.
just saying. I'm not saying he's bad.
I think it's going to be very interesting. We said it in our promotional pieces, Andy Reid versus his former team, but in one way I can see it as there's scouting reports on what Andy Reid's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much out there about Nick.
Yeah, so you're saying that maybe Nick Sirianni has some tricks in the bag that no one knows about because we just don't have the tape on it. Is that what we're saying here?
It could. I don't know if we're going to see the Philly special with Nick Foles catching a touchdown in this Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you have to have that with Jalen Hurts at quarterback, but that we'll talk about that.
Could it be A.J. Brown throwing a pass to Devontae Smith?
I mean, we, as Titans fans, we've seen him throw the ball before, so I mean, I know he can. Right. It'll be interesting for sure. A lot of weapons on both sides on offense.
I tend to agree with you, though. If I'm looking just at my first column here, coaches, I lean towards Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah.
Next is quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes versus Jalen Hurts. What I wrote was injuries may play a role here. It's the bum ankle versus the shoulder questions.
Yeah, and it's going to be which one – does one of them show up? Like Parker said in his opener there, they say he's okay, but is he? I don't. He falls on that shoulder one good time, and is it hurt again? Same thing across the field. Patrick Mahomes, if he gets tackled awkwardly, goes to the sideline, slips on something when he's trying to run out of bounds, we're going to have a problem there again? Of course, Patrick Mahomes has showed that he's willing to stay in the game and just stand in the pocket. But it kind of significantly diminishes part of the game plan that is Patrick Mahomes' offense.
When I'm thinking about the quarterbacks, I don't even think this is close. I think Patrick Mahomes is in a completely different league, level than Jalen Hurts, and taking nothing away from your MVP caliber season.
Yep.
I just quite frankly don't think you're the same quarterback as Patrick Mahomes. I guess that doesn't mean that you're not a good NFL player. But when I think quarterback, the big advantage is Kansas City here again. So already in two columns, I've had a check mark in Kansas City on both sides.
Well, I mean, in all fairness to Jalen Hurts, look at who we're comparing him to, right?
But I mean, we got to. That's the matchup.
No, 100%. In no way, like Brad said, we are not sitting here saying that Jalen Hurts. I mean, look, we're the last people. Look, we got, some of us anyway, have a little bit of egg on our face from this preseason prediction that we made.
2 seasons in a row, we said the Eagles don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, and
he just balled on us.
Now, in my defense, in the discussion that we had in the comments, and we really appreciate all your comments, go ahead and comment down below what you think your prediction is going to be this year. Tell us about your comparison to these quarterbacks. But in the comments section of our prediction show, we had a actually, I think it was a very productive conversation about Jalen Hurts. And I think that we've spelled out that, look, we're not saying that he couldn't improve, but he had to improve leaps and bounds. Did he improve leaps and bounds? Probably. I mean, it looks like it as just looking at the numbers, but I mean, according to Parker, did he have a year where he kind of just caught everybody at the right time? But again, we're going against Patrick Mahomes, man. It's hard to pick against the guy.
Yeah.
You kind of end up looking like an idiot.
I think Hurts will play just fine. Before we go further, we just got an email. Blake, you want to pull up this email? We got a prediction from one of our good friends in San Francisco.
Yep.
There, what's he saying here?
Oh, this is from our good buddy, good friend of the show, Christian McCaffrey, giving his prediction on the Super Bowl, or at least what he hopes happens. I hope both teams lose. You know what?
I've heard my brother say something like, my older brother used to say, I hope both teams die.
I mean, let me ask you something. seeing this quote, does that make you a bigger CMC fan or less of a CMC fan? Put that down in the comments down there below, because I'm going to tell you right now,
I like it.
I love it. I
like
love hearing that competitive streak out of professional players. Sometimes I think they get a little bit too nice. So I love seeing the mean streak.
Sorry, I just saw the breaking news over here in our inbox.
Yep. Well, you know what? We're not going to do that at the end. We're going to do that right after the Super Bowl prediction, because I think it is worthy of a few minutes.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about that right there.
No,
We'll talk
that's
about
not
that
what
in a
this
minute.
show's about. Let's see. What else? We got other storylines, man. Hit the next one. No, up here. We're going right there.
So same ones that always.
Brothers are in the house.
my
Travis Kelce and his brother Jason are going to be on the same field making mom and daddy proud, Blake.
Well, this is what the media's. This is all the media has been talking about the entire week. Did you know that Travis Kelce is brothers with Jason Kelce?
No, sure.
Yeah, I mean, really, guys?
Okay.
That's all we're talking about all week.
I love this though. On Jason Kelce on times he hates his brother this week, or when we're fighting over leftovers after Thanksgiving.
You know, they have a podcast, and I don't know the name of it, but they have a podcast that they do together. It is actually quite entertaining. Highly recommend it for you guys. Y'all go check that out. Very entertaining. The Kelce's, you gotta love Jason Kelce. One of, I mean, a very, very, very good center. I mean, I don't know if
man.
Dare we say Hall of Fame center? I don't know. Maybe if he wins maybe I don't know how centers win Super Bowls, but
he will have his hands full with Chris Jones.
Yeah,
defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce's looking to become the first tight end to earn MVP in a Super Bowl game.
Yeah,
he could.
He really could. He's one of those big offensive weapons on that Kansas City sideline. And he's just kind of, where Tony Romo had Jason Witten, Patrick Mahomes has Travis Kelce. It's like they know each other's moves. They know their mannerisms. They just kind of give each other a look. And all of a sudden we have a hot route in the making. So you kind of love watching the chemistry there, the athleticism of Travis Kelce. It's impressive. And against a lot of teams, it's just not fair.
So I'm going to give you a couple of names from each team that some of you might not just initially think of, but see if they elicit any emotion from you. The Kansas City Chiefs, key players to watch in this game, both running backs. Jerick McKinnon, and I'm going to butcher the last name, Isaiah Pacheco. What do you think?
That's right.
What do you think about the running backs?
I think that they are two. I mean, I really like Pacheco a lot.
Hard runner, hard nose, man.
I like him a lot. But McKinnon, he gets. I mean, they move the ball. What do you say? Having a good hard running back like Pacheco, McKinnon gets in there and he does his thing too. Having that to complement Patrick Mahomes over the top, and Travis Kelce being Travis Kelce and doing Travis Kelce things. It's a recipe for disaster for defenses.
Then on the Eagles side, on offense, I wrote down the obvious: A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith.
Yep.
I don't know that the Kansas City secondary can cover this. Parker said they better do a zone.
Yeah, and I don't
A.J.
disagree.
Brown may just completely kill them.
I mean, putting one guy on A.J. Brown is a very tall order for you to ask of somebody, because he just manhandles them. He literally goes up and he literally puts his arms around him and runs with him and catches the ball behind their back. It's kind of embarrassing. He kind of treats them like little kids. So yeah, I think zone is probably the way to go. And the big question for offense with the Eagles is can Jalen Hurts get the ball there? Can he perform on this big of a stage? I agree with Parker's assessment too. They're going to throw some different blitzes at him. There isn't any tomorrow.
No.
This is it right here. You're digging in. You're pulling out all the tricks here.
But to the Eagles' advantage is they're healthy on the offensive line.
Yep.
Got their offensive linemen back, all of them.
Mhm.
You've got Miles Sanders to take some pressure off of the quarterback. Jalen Hurts will use his wheels here.
Mhm.
I'm interested to see if this is one of the prop bets that pops up later in Parker's props, but
Yep. We haven't even heard it.
leave
so we love it.
nothing on, let it all hang out. This is it. This is for the chip.
Yep.
Hurts might have 100 yards in the first half. Miles Sanders run the ball behind Kelsey.
Yep. Yep. I mean, there's no question that in order for this game to be, for the Eagles to be successful, they have to have production, both throwing and running the ball from Jalen Hurts. There's just no getting around it. They need every single advantage they can get, and having Jalen Hurts run the ball for, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 yards is that would change the outlook of the game.
Yep. How about defense? So for the Eagles, I wrote down their linebackers are two names we need to watch or listen for as we're going throughout this game. TJ Edwards, Hassan Reddick. They add both in the run game.
Mm-hmm.
They get in there in the correct positions and stuff to run. They can also drop back in zones to play defense. They're going to be names to watch when you're talking about what do you do with Kelsey? Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of it is going to be gap discipline, rushing lane discipline. Somebody's going to have to knock Kelsey off his route early. That's going to be really hard because he's just a big, strong dude. He's kind of the second coming of Gronk out there. Knocking him off of his route is kind of difficult. But then again, even though sometimes you do that, it doesn't work. But they're going to have to pull out all the stops. They're going to have to play disciplined on defense. They can't over pursue and give up contain on Patrick Mahomes because he will make you pay if you do. Those linebackers are going to be key with their gap discipline and being able to drop back in the zone, like you said.
And the two names to listen for the Kansas City defense, they're both on the defensive line. I've got defensive end Frank Clark, defensive tackle Chris Jones, had 15 and a half sacks this year. Complete game record. He wrecked the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line by himself. If they can get pressure, that's going to help their younger secondary with all the weapons that the Eagles have. What do you see here as a the deciding factor? Are you even ready for a pick? Parker's leaning Chiefs.
I can't sit here and say that you know what, I'm going to let you go ahead and pick because I've got to figure out how I'm going to explain what I'm about to say.
All right. So my final thoughts. The Kansas City defensive line will not have the same success against the Philadelphia offensive line. They won't.
See me over here smiling?
The Philadelphia defensive line can get pressure without blitzing. We know. Parker's already said it. If you blitz Patrick Mahomes, you're dead meat.
Yep.
But the Eagles can get pressure without blitzing. I wrote down man for man, Philadelphia has the better defense. Show me one more little thing here that I have for you. This leads into my pick. The winner of the last 8 Super Bowl coin tosses has gone on to lose each and every game. My prediction: the Kansas City Chiefs will win the coin toss. But the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl 30-20.
So
we're split. Blake's the tiebreaker.
Now I kind of wish that I had gone first.
Blake is the tiebreaker.
So almost everything that you just said, I was about to say. I'm sitting here looking at the Philadelphia defense. You're right. We've always said on this show, time and time again, it's a broken record on this show. The way to beat Patrick Mahomes is you don't send extra guys.
Get pressure with 4.
Yes. They have the ability on that defensive line to do so. They got the guys to do it.
Like 70 sacks this year.
Yes. And while Patrick Mahomes can hurt you with his legs, I don't think I don't think he is the kind of guy that's going to beat you with his legs, particularly given that he's had an ankle injury and it could potentially show up again. I don't think that's necessarily what's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get the pressure with the 4 guys. They're going to have everything covered. And on offense, I just have this feeling. Daddy's got a feeling over here. Jalen Hurts is going to be a force to be reckoned with, not necessarily with his arm, but I think he could be. But I think he will rush for over 100 yards in this game, and he will lead them to victory.
Shout out to tight end Dallas Goedert.
Yep.
I mean, look out over the middle.
Yep.
They've got a tight end too, but
yep.
Those are our predictions. Stay tuned for Parker's Props coming up a little bit later. We're going to go on to our new segment where we're going around the world. We are dudes discussing sports, all sports. Getting ready for our little 2-minute take segment. And you ready to start this thing?
Yep, let's go for it.
We're going to go right to the NBA, and the Brooklyn Nets are making headlines. This team has traded away both Kyrie and Kevin Durant late in the night, last night on Wednesday night. The Suns pull off a trade and acquire Kevin Durant. They had to give up draft picks and players. Where does this leave the Suns?
There have been a lot of people today, and I kind of tend to agree that the Suns might have just won the West with this addition. They really might have. You know, you're looking now, everybody's sitting here saying that this is the big knock on Kevin Durant. He's been hurt a lot. He's had the knee problems lately. But you're putting him on a team where they've got a lot of weapons. You know, you're looking at Chris Paul being on there too. I look at this and I'm like, man, could this be the missing piece for him? I think this puts him in a great position in the West. And it's hard not to think that Phoenix is not the place to be right now in the NBA.
I do believe that most would consider the Suns the favorites in the West now. You have the guards. You already mentioned one with Chris Paul. You have Devin Booker.
Yep.
Kevin Durant's now there.
Yep.
With the big 3, that's always been the big thing. The big 3. If you can just get 3 together to play some hoops.
Yep.
Now, the other trade was earlier in the week. Kyrie Irving goes to Dallas, and it seemed like LeBron James was none too happy.
Well, I mean, you know, he's looking around at these big marquee players and these guys that are really productive. And he's like, why can't I get some help like that? Why can't you make a deal for me like that? This is a guy that's trying to last as long as he can in his career.
He's trying to play with his son.
He is. I mean, you guys saw it on our show last week. He has the quote that he has been quoted that he wants to be able to play with his son eventually.
But Nets, you're making headlines, but is it for the right reasons? We'll see. On to the next topic. We are asking the question, what's next for one Tom Brady? He has recently retired. Tom Brady says that he's going to start with his broadcasting career at Fox in 2024.
That didn't take long.
Nah, but what about next year? Is he taking the year off, Blake?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think Tom is capable of being far away from football. I think he has an addiction, and it is made of pigskin. He loves football. He has given everything that he has to football. So I don't think he's going to be gone for long.
Yeah, there's one person on the Super Bowl Fox team this year that's kind of happy. At least he's not coming next year. Greg Olson says, I'm glad Sunday won't be my last game with the Fox #1 crew.
I mean,
he already knows the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, what does that say? What does that say to everybody about Greg Olson? I mean, does that mean that everybody doesn't like the Fox crew?
Well, I mean, if Tom Brady comes calling, you got no other choice but to go down a peg, right?
Again, I mean, just like anything else with to do with Tom Brady, if he wanted to come to Nashville, the Tennessee Titans wouldn't have told him no.
No.
If he wanted to go to Las Vegas, they were not going to tell him no.
No.
If he wanted to go to freaking San Francisco, no one was going to tell him no.
What happens if he wanted to go to Kansas City?
Dude, talk about controversy. I don't know that it would have come down to that. But
any more thoughts about Tom Brady? Does he? So we know what 2024 is. Can he rebuild any of his family life next year? Is he really going to take a year off of football?
Well, I think that's the big question mark. I hope for him and his family's sake that he does so. But again, it is.
And our final 2-minute topic, we're going to go with the Tennessee Titans promoting Kelly, Mr. Kelly, to be their offensive coordinator. What is your initial thought about the hire? We saw that they interviewed plenty.
Yep.
My initial thought, I'll save it for just a minute, but my initial thought is kind of negative.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think? You're more the Titans fan.
So a lot of Titans fans are up in arms right now.
Really? I don't know why they're so mad though.
It's just like anything else. It is a knee-jerk reaction whenever you promote from within, particularly when you had an offense that just, quite frankly, shit the bed, like the Titans offense did last year, even with one of the best running backs probably in the history of the sport, honestly. But I mean, still, you don't have the weapons around you that you need. You're not running the type of offense that you need. Then you fire the offensive coordinator, and then you hire somebody who was an offensive assistant. It gives them kind of just negative thoughts that it's more of the same. Was he really that involved in the offense? I'm not really sure. I think that once people kind of stop and think about it a little bit, I think that they'll probably calm down.
I believe I heard Vrabel say, but this was in an effort to try to build him up a little bit. Mm-hmm. He said that Kelly wasn't just like the passing game coordinator, but he helped a lot on first and second downs.
Right. He
said that to try to build it up. But to me, I look at him like, you're pretty predictable on first and second downs. I don't know that that's a compliment.
Well, but if you're trying to defend him, you're sitting here saying, how productive can you really be, or how can you be as a part-time offensive coordinator? I don't know. I mean, again, Vrabel made the comment. He didn't think that everything on the team's broken, and he thinks that Tim Kelly was part of that.
I do think broken. This definitely means Tannehill's the coach, or Tannehill's the quarterback.
I would totally agree. I would.
We're not going to put up the clock, but we do have a special 2-minute from Parker on this subject with the Titans promoting Kelly to the offensive coordinator.
Titans have been making a lot of moves, obviously, this offseason with the coaching staff, with the general manager. And as far as this offensive coordinator, Titans fans are ready to burn down Twitter after Tim Kelly was announced as the offensive coordinator. I mean, this isn't surprising if you follow us on Twitter. If you go back a month ago to the day, we hint at how this was likely the outcome because everybody was fired, but guess who? Tim Kelly. I mean, they brought him in as a former offensive coordinator for a reason. If you hate the hire, you're looking at it through the offense sucked last year, so why would we hire from within? Which is a good argument, but I personally think you got to look a little bit deeper than that. I don't think Kelly was that involved. Sure, he was the passing game coordinator, but for what? Like Malik to throw to NWI? I could commission Picasso to paint me a portrait, and if I handed him nothing but a snot and a rock, like what's he going to come up with, right? Like if you're only as good as your weapons that are out on the field at the time. And I want to go back to my initial thoughts of Kelly of when they hired him as the passing game coordinator. Hey, under Kelly, Davis Mills had a franchise record-setting rookie season. He also led the NFL in red zone passing as a rookie. I mean, that's crazy. He had an offense. Brandon Cooks was setting records, and under Kelly's watch, NFL sexual predator Deshaun Watson had his lone standout season. And aside of this making sense for some continuity, this does tell me that Tanny's going to be back. I believe. I thought that to be the case anyway with the money situation. It's not a splash hire. I'll give you that. That's for sure. But I think I remain cautiously optimistic with the hire. And just a quick word, guys, about the new GM and maybe even as important, the assistant GM. I love this. It appears that they're going to run a Cleveland type model of how to build a franchise, which was really smart and going really well until they sold their souls for the devil, but they were on the right track. So as far as Tim Kelly goes, I'm optimistic. Titans fans, don't jump off the cliff just yet. I do think that there's some method to this madness.
Well, I mean, it's hard to argue with Parker's logic. I do think that we're all kind of on the same page here. Wasn't a sexy hire, but Parker did kind of allude to that this was probably the outcome of this search.
And my theory behind it was, after all this is settled, if Vrabel really thought this was the answer all along, it almost felt like he sabotaged last season to me. Because he could have promoted Kelly at any time last year with how bad things were going. It was what looked like the great game in Green Bay. And then you had the incident with the drinking on the team plane. And then it all went to hell after that. He could have pulled that plug anytime. Why didn't he just go ahead and do it?
Well, allow me to add to your conspiracy theory.
Oh.
Was he sabotaging it to get rid of J-Rob? Take that and run with it, Titans Twitter. Go ahead and run with that. But you know what? I trust Vrabel. I really do. Whatever his method was, I'm sure there's a reason for it. But guys, that's a show for us tonight. Appreciate you joining us again. Go ahead and comment down below. Tell us what you think about the Kyrie and KD trade. Tell us what you think the implications are going to be for the NBA. Particularly out there in the West. Sounds like Phoenix is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Did it just leave LeBron in the dust after he's setting records, all-time scoring records?
Exactly. Is LeBron the GOAT? That might be another show. That might be for another show right there, guys.
Maybe I should save it.
Yeah.
Blake's asking, is he the greatest player of all time? I argue he might not even be top 3 Laker of all time.
Hey, goodness gracious, on the way out the door. Guys, again, leave your comments down below. We'll interact with you. Really appreciate you joining us. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Give us a follow on Rumble. Follow and a Rumble on Rumble. Check us out on all our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. You can download all the audio versions of these podcasts on your favorite podcasting platform. Newberry, it's time for your favorite part of the show. It is final thoughts.
And we're going to let Blake lead it off this week.
I'm going to lead it off because we had, as we were recording this show tonight, February 9th, we got breaking news. You're hearing it right here. Breaking news out of the Big 12 and the SEC. Breaking news. We're just going to read this headline. Texas, Oklahoma leaving Big 12 early, joining SEC in 2024 season after reaching exit agreement.
1 year early.
Guys, we have been talking about this for about a year now. We'll tag it up here in the corner. We've been talking about this super conference thing. We've been talking about the Big 12 dying. The Big 12 is going away. It's being poached by every single conference. Guess what? The SEC just took your most valuable 2 programs in the Big 12, and they're coming over to play with the big boys. How will they fare in the SEC? I don't know. I would love to hear your comments down below. We're going to see.
And you know how the SEC did it? They paid a combined $100 million to get this done early because the SEC can do that.
Yes, because guess what, guys? It just means more.
My final thoughts, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had himself a week this week, fellas.
Yes, he did. It was the Trevor week.
He had a week there at the Super Bowl.
Everybody loves Trevor.
The Pro Bowl games.
Yeah, the games. Yeah,
he got to throw the ball
go check out the short we put out about it.
We see Derrick Henry here giving a little Duval love to Trevor. We see Peyton Manning hanging out with number 16. He picked number 16 because he thought he was going to go to Knoxville. Blake.
Yeah, he did. Old Butch Jones screwed that up, didn't he?
He loves some Peyton Manning. We also saw him hanging out with megastar
Snoop D-O double G.
D-O double G. Look at him giving the West Side. But Trevor, probably, I'm not saying that he is the best. I'm not saying that he's in the top 3. Probably see him in the Pro Bowl game some more as his career progresses here.
I would say so. Look, I mean, Trevor's a very likable guy. He's got some substantial talent. God willing, he stays healthy. I think he'll be in the Pro Bowl plenty of times for the rest of his career.
And what we've all been waiting for, Parker's final thoughts. We're going to hear Parker's prop bets for this year's Super Bowl.
Here we go, baby.
All right, fellas, it's fun picking the game and breaking it down, but this is the best part about it. props, right? There's all these crazy ones from how long will the anthem be to how, what's Rihanna going to sing first. I've got a lot that I like, but I broke this down to my favorite 4, 2 that I actually think will hit, 1 semi-long prediction that's getting a good shot, and then just a crazy long shot for just a glimmer of hope that could come through. And I think you're going to like all of these. So let's start with the 2 that I think actually will hit. One is McKinnon under 9.5 yards for his longest rush, and I would play this down even lower. Well, I think the Eagles' passing defense might be overrated, as I laid out earlier. Their run defense has played 8 top 10 matchup, and they've held up very well in all those. I continue to see that happen again. On top of their defense being really good against the run, McKinnon has only gone over this prop this year 5 times in 88 rushing attempts. And the last time he did it, there's been 24 rushing attempts since then. And guess how many times he's had it in that span? None. I mean, I just, this one feels like I'm taking crazy pills. CEH is also probably going to play get some snaps in this game. Pacheco is turning into that guy. He is really their running back now, their lead guy. McKinnon only ever even averages 4 rushing attempts per game, and that's when everything's normal. I think this guy might get 2 handoffs in this game, and I think it's a safe assumption to think not any of these aren't going to go for 10 yards. My other one I think that hits is Mahomes, more than 3.5 rushing attempts. This is starting to go up. It might be 4.5 by the time you guys record this. I know Mahomes has a high ankle sprain, but he's had a few extra weeks to get healthy. On top of that, this is it, man. This is the Super Bowl. This is what's gut check time. This is when you've got time to heal up. And Mahomes is not, going to pull the Cam Newton where he's too scared to do something. He's going to absolutely go for it. And on top of that, you know what else counts as a rushing attempt in the NFL? A kneel down. And that goes well with my Kansas City Chiefs pick there, because if he's at 3, kneels it down to win this game, we go over on that. All right, now let's get to some fun ones. The next one, a little bit of a long shot here, is Jody Fortson. Jody Fortson, one of the Chiefs tight ends here. An anytime touchdown, and if you're feeling Randy, a first touchdown. And let me lay the case for this. Since 2021, Fortson has just 14 catches for the Chiefs. However, 4 of them are for touchdowns. And when you look all across the NFL, there are hundreds of different types of formations and schemes all across the league. But the Chiefs' 13 personnel, which is 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 3 tight ends, is the most efficient, effective personnel in all of the NFL. Everything. And the Eagles are one of the worst defenses at guarding this. So my thought process is, let's see if the Chiefs get down the 5-10 yard line. They come out in this 13 personnel, and everybody's looking over at Travis Kelce, and our boy Fortson is wide open in the corner for an easy strike from Mahomes to hit for us. All right, so you can't come with the prop game without having a crazy long shot, and this long shot is so long, $10, we get you about $1,600, and that is to give me Sky Moore to win MVP. Now, when you go for these long shots, most of them have no chance at winning. So you want to get something where, there's a reason why it's so long, right? But you want to at least give it a shot, right? This one, I think, has a 1% shot of coming true. Sky Moore is the punt returner. What happens when Sky Moore, it's a close game and he breaks one to get the lead in the third quarter, or he breaks one at the beginning of the game? Also, wide receivers are hurt for the Chiefs. What if Kadarius gets hurt, which he's known for doing? What if Juju's not a factor and Sky Moore's just the guy? What if he goes out of 7 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown? Also, if you're thinking, well, Mahomes might hit Kelce in the last minute to win the game. Guys, I know they press these guys in the press boxes to get the MVP voting out quicker. These votes are usually in with about 3 to 4 minutes left in the game. So that little bit at the end doesn't always factor into their thinking. Let's just hope Sky Moore doesn't catch that touchdown with 30 seconds to go. So there it is for you, fellas. I like Sky Moore, MVP. Jody Fortson, anytime touchdown, first touchdown. I feel like it. Mahomes, more than 3.5 rushing attempts. And McKinnon, under 9.5 yards for his longest rush. And if you wanted to do his total yards, that would work as well.
My
sir.
God, I missed that bald head, and I've loved to hear the takes.
Let's make some money.
Let's
with
everybody
Parker.
make some money. Guys, enjoy the Super Bowl this weekend responsibly. Get out there, root for your team. Get the comments going on Twitter. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.
We appreciate DDS Nation.
But
Thank
as
you.
always, it is two-tone blue all the way. You guys be well.